Okay, YouTube land, what's good? This is your host from the Gulf Coast doing the most.
Doing the most.
Donte.
And Shellie.
We are the yin and yang of Short-Term Rentals podcast. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. Animal noises.
Darn fools.
And cut.
Well, look who made it back. Yo, thank you for supporting the channel. We got a bunch of episodes filled with info on how we host, funny guest story with your boy Tay, current news with Shellie, and special guest appearances. Also feature some local music artists for the outro, so make sure you stick around to the end, my friend, and peep all the links in the description. Dropping gems. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here we go. This is my old friend. So some of you guys who've been paying attention to the pod, you guys know that me and dear old Miss Taxes have a rocky relationship in the beginning. But today we're just gonna talk about the next chapter in our relationship where I have successfully completed a full year of being a short-term rental host. Yeah. And you know, I had goals with this, I had numbers, and when you see the tax documents hit your Airbnb account and the numbers are on point with what you thought they were, and the projections, you're like, boom, I mean, we all in the same boat, we all on the same page. So, definitely was like, very grateful, very proud, but now comes the fun part of recording the taxes. And because of my situation of only doing a room in a place that I actually still live in, my situation is gonna be a little more unique. So I'll be reaching out to some professionals, and this is gonna be super interesting. But if anyone else has any questions that they want me to ask or has any advice, definitely feel free to comment. But yeah, logging my taxes. This is it's gonna be interesting. I don't want people to think of it as like a, I think I had a lot of anxiety with taxes, or not a lot, but just a lot of like taxes has never been a good word. There's a negative connotation with the word taxes in my life. But as a business owner, I think I need to change that and look at it as more of like just another tool or just a part of it. But that's how I'm coming into 2024.
Well, what I think for you, yes, there are the traditional 4-letter words, and then taxes is a 5-letter word, right? And so that one can be even more offensive.
Yes, yeah,
right?
Man.
But what I will say is, being a new homeowner, period, I know for me changed the game for me tax-wise, period. So it opened the door. And I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but because the tax code has changed a bit, but it opened the door for me to be able to itemize my taxes and have more deductions that counted toward that.
Right.
Things have tweaked a little bit, and so that standard deduction is higher now, and so it's a higher mark to reach to be able to itemize. And I can still reach it. I'm not sure if you can, but definitely with this, you definitely should be able to do that. So what that does is it opens the door not only for you to be able to write off more stuff in terms of your property, being that you live there, and I definitely encourage you to reach out to a tax professional.
For sure.
But in your business is there, certain things that I would think you would be able to write off a portion of your utilities.
Right, yeah.
A portion of your any repairs or
and that's
home maintenance.
And that's something that, because I have a music LLC as well, I have gone through some of the things. I used to go to H&R Block. Well, I actually did TurboTax for the longest time. Yeah. And when I had my music business, I started going to H&R Block. So that was like a professional helping me about, with the itemizations for deductions and, really helped me understand, with utilities. So like the Wi-Fi, the electricity, like those are things I use for my business. So doing deductions on that, I remember talking about I think the size of the room and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's very interesting things. I was like, okay, this is interesting. So yeah, you're right. Like all those things are going to come and play with this as well, because it's the same situation where I'm doing it in my home.
Right. And so all the things you bought, we talked about the things we purchased to get started, saving the receipts for all those types of things.
Yeah.
So all of those things are really cool. I know on my side, like we talked about, the paying for the social media marketing, completely deductible. And again, I could write off everything where that home is concerned because it's a separate home. So, yay.
Yeah.
So, and for someone who the taxes was not, it was no joke for me, being what my just regular income is anyway. I have a great relationship with taxes.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. Even the county taxes and state taxes, you can deduct that from your federal. So that's still, all of it, it's all good.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I think, how do I say this? Well, I think this journey with the taxes have been something that's, I'm looking forward to it, because I want to get to the place to where I'm just very comfortable with it. I think there's a little bit of, your system, when you talk about it with me, I was like, and I'm glad to have people around you who are around me who like you, because like when you talk about your system, how you get things and you email it to your professional and all these things, I was like, I'm still not there, but I've gotten better at the recording part of it. I was actually looking into some other softwares. QuickBooks is a very popular one. I looked into Expensify recently because it's a little cheaper, and I don't need as much for what I'm doing, in my opinion. So I was looking at some things that might be a little cheaper, but still get the job done.
Yeah, because I don't know, you might be able to get away with just a simple spreadsheet.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do right now. Shout out Google Sheets.
Yeah, but I think when it's a whole nother thing, because I get to write off even the entire mortgage.
Yeah.
Because that's associated with that business.
Right.
Whereas, you probably won't be able to do that. But yeah, so, I listen, and the tax professional can make it or break it for you. I'm grateful that I have one who's open to getting stuff all year long for me. And so I don't have this whole scramble of, where was that,
I be scrambling. I'm still scrambling a little bit.
What I'm really looking for, if anybody knows one or someone who develops, I'm looking for an app that'll make it easy for me with my mileage.
So that's cool. That was one that I got this year, a new one. I had one before.
Do you have an app for that?
Yeah.
I've been looking for that for a minute, because I'm like, I deduct mileage for my day job.
Right.
Because I have to travel from site to site for that. And this as well.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, man, every time I'm sitting here, every time. And then I got to Google Maps and da-da-da.
Yeah.
So right now I kind of just mark the dates on my calendar, and then later Google Maps to join and, kind of, but then I leave out stuff. I leave out when I went to Home Depot to get this, or when I went here, and it would be easier for me to capture everything, because I know I'm leaving stuff on the table. If I just had an app that could just...
So I can't remember the name of the app I had first, and it was okay, but I felt like for what I was trying to do, I needed a little bit more like flexibility with the reporting of it, like to get the reports I wanted. It wasn't what I was looking for. So I went to this is when I started doing the real estate investing. I think it was back in June. I went to this like meeting. It focused on a specific type of real estate investing with tax liens and stuff like that. But the guy who was hosting it talked about the app that he uses to track his mileage, and he was recommending people do it. So it's called Mile IQ. And I downloaded it, and I've been using it ever since. And what I like about it is that the interface is very easy to use. Like I said, I'm still going to go through the reporting of this. My first year, like using the reports for my taxes. But the pro of it is like I drive for personal, I drive for business, and you can easily swipe them into the category. So like it's tracking every start and stop. It'll show you on a map the distance you went. So even if I'm like, where? Oh, this is when I went to Publix. Oh, this is when I went to go see that property. So that's a personal thing, and this is a business thing. And I just swipe left and right for those.
That's what's up. See, this is why this podcast is fire. Because you need that type of, interaction. Like, I've been trying to find
check it out.
App literally for probably about 3 years. I'm not even kidding.
No, and I can understand that struggle because everyone's like, oh, there's an app for that, but they don't tell you that not every app fits what you're looking for.
Exactly.
There's a lot of trial and error with these apps, man.
Exactly.
So, homie's really experiencing it, and he recommended it, and I was like, all right, let me go ahead and try that. And I think I did do some research on it too, but so far so good. I definitely recommend trying it out, see if it works for you.
Oh, I'm loving it. I've literally already.
Yeah, she's on it. Yo, I love it.
Listen.
No hesitation.
Listen, I'm mad that it took me this long, but that's all
okay.
right.
Look at me adding value to Shellie's business.
What's up. That's what we do, right?
And that's kind of a good thing to highlight is just like with anything in business world or anything, I think it's important to build relationships because the sharing of information is like a key to the group's success. And I think, obviously I focus on things that maybe Shellie might not be super focused on, and she's focusing on that. And that's where we can put these two halves together and both grow our businesses and hit the goals we want. So that makes me happy that I even me starting off, I found something that might be of value to someone else. So hopefully it works out.
Please govern yourselves for their church announcements.
Wow.
We'd like for you to hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm, especially for a new channel like us. And Donte's experienced a lot of rejection, so he needs some likes in his life.
Somebody like me, please.
Also, please subscribe. Hit the notification button so you'll know when something new drops. Our giveaways are specific to our subscribers, so please subscribe so you can participate.
And ask us some questions. Leave us some comments.
Don't forget to share, because sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
But yeah, the taxes this year, like I'm curious to see like what a return's gonna look like for me. With I talked to the CPA I'm going to use this year, and it's a John Farr CPA. He's local in Pensacola, so I'm shout him out. Actually, the guy's Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor is the guy who I spoke with, who's someone who I think we're about the same age. We played high school sports, basketball. Okay. Yeah, man. So it was really weird because he went to the rival school, and I think he's like a couple years younger than me. So I was like, we might have hooped against each other, man. I was like, but great guy. And we talked about how to separate my categories because I have my personal, I have my music business, and then I have my real estate investing. And the Airbnb is something that like I separated, but I'm sure it's probably going to go into a certain bucket. Maybe we'll see, but that's something that I'm kind of just like. The separation of everything is like, I recommend people just making sure they do that. And then, it'll be easier because like, I remember one year I didn't separate things as well. Yeah. And I had to like do it all over.
Yeah.
I was like, I was done.
And that's when it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so probably my biggest thing that I will say, having been in business for years, is think about the taxes at the beginning, not at the end.
Right. Oh, this year I've started already. Like,
yes. yes.
Getting better at that.
Speaking of this year, so I know you reached your goals. So what is your goal for 2024? Is your goal higher? Is it the same?
You know what? I put all my attention on other areas, and I have, because of my situation with the Airbnb short-term rental, it has like been modified with me kind of having like this midterm rental thing where I lucked up and have this guy who's been there for months and he's paying a good price. So I haven't had to think about the future, but I should. So I think I think what I'm looking for is I don't think there's a percentage, but I'm looking for a increase in this year, but just slightly.
Okay.
Just because I think with the economy the way it is, I don't know if we're going to get more traffic or less, because it seems like people financially might be going through a little bit of tightening.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think I'm anticipating not a great increase. And if it does, that's good. But I'm actually like, there's also going to be a chance I don't make as much. So I'm also like, if I can get close to what I did, that'll be fine. But I am doing what I think most of the investors who I run into recommend, is like adding more value to the space this year. So I really don't know if that's going to be a hit or a miss. You know, we talked about, because I have this music background, I have this audio equipment, recording equipment, of elevating my place to also offering people to record things while they're staying, and, you know, whether it's music or for podcasting or whatever. So those things are going to be added this year, and there could be some other additions too, with the outside experience for people that I'm still planning on doing, so they can enjoy that. So that actually it'll take a little bit more investment, but who knows, it might help, you know, 2x what I got going on. You know, we'll just see. I'll say, yeah, I'm looking for a little bit of a bump, but if I get close to the numbers that I hit last year, I'll be totally happy with that.
And so again, that parlays back to what we talked about, house hacking.
Yeah.
Or, as some would call it, diversification of your asset.
Yeah.
Tomato, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're just looking at different ways to capitalize on this asset that you have: Airbnb, short-term rental, mid-term rental, all of those being options. But then again, like you said, looking at that additional space and what you can do with that. So I think that's...
I mean, even that midterm rental space, man, I mean, that pocket, I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah.
And even those short-term rentals pockets, I'm like, the flexibility of like, I might advertise a little bit more in that space, you know? Maybe there's another person who can get the value that my current guy is getting, where it's like locked them in for 3 to 6 months, and it's just like, hopefully they're good as this guy. But that's something where I don't have to worry about certain things like cleaning and the turnover and, you know, the management this last 6 months. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting spoiled. I'm really getting spoiled, and I'm totally happy with it. I mean, it's so yeah, man. I think you know, I think the exit strategies of whatever investment you're doing, having multiple and also adding value, is like those things of, that's the investor mentality that I have going forward to this day. And, you know, you're doing the same thing. So that's cool to see, because, I mean, this is your first year doing the short-term rental thing as for taxes. So are there anything outside of your normal process that you're kind of looking into or looking forward to, or you got everything pretty much lined up, sounds like maybe?
Well, I mean, we're going to invite my tax girl on, and she's going to let me know.
Yeah.
She does, and she's really good throughout the year. She'll kind of let you know. But, yeah, what's been different this year is being able to write off the entire mortgage.
Yeah. She says that with this big grin on her face.
That's fire.
Cheek to cheek, yo, yeah.
You know, I'm like, You know, and remember, I put a lot of renovations. I did a lot of renovations.
You did.
So
I mean, you changed whole rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
this.
So, and being able to do that and completely tax deductible, listen, I'm looking forward to filing my taxes this year.
That's what's up.
I really am.
Do you have any recommendations for people who are, you maybe like me, with preparing taxes, or just like if they start this year, what they should keep in mind when they're in relation to taxes?
Yeah, I would say probably at minimum once a month. But if you could think about it, every time you get a receipt, every time, even if you don't have a person earmarked that this is the person who does my taxes, put it in a separate, create a separate email, you know, and shoot it to that email or something. Just have it somewhere where it's just easy for you to be like, boom, here's all these receipts, here's all that. And all you're waiting for then is your 1098s, you know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. But trying to remember each little purchase, definitely when you're swiping, they want to give you a receipt. Yes, email it to me.
Yeah.
The more electronic you can have it, and that way you don't have to worry about all these little
filing it in your local space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be a headache.
That's probably the biggest thing I would say. Again, we had the what's the lawn guy, and he's like, oh, pay me on Cash App. Nah, man, I want to be able to, and I think there is a way on Cash App to kind of get your receipts or whatever. I don't really do Cash App, my husband does, but I'm like, bruh, email me my invoice. I don't care how, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just need electronic stuff so I can write my stuff off. So that's probably the biggest thing. If people can give you that stuff electronically, and you can just send it where it needs to go, that's going to make this time of year very easy for you.
Okay. And what I'll say is, as a person who historically used TurboTax, I definitely think there is a big value add to having a person you can go talk to about your taxes. So whether you use someone local or you use like H&R Block, like a franchise, like both of those experiences for me have been a good benefit. And even though there's a cost to them, I believe you can still even include that into your business.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
So
yes, you
people,
write that off too.
Yeah, so I didn't really think about that before, but keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And I definitely think, having another pair of eyes on your taxes is a wise way to conduct your business. So I recommend that.
Don't forget to pay yourself too. Remember how we talked about, like, you do your own cleaning?
Oh, yeah.
But I outsource that. There's still a value.
Yeah.
So
paying myself.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a whole nother. We'll have another tax episode where we go into some of these things, but I've heard that so many times.
Yes.
And it's just weird to hear, like, paying yourself for me. I should get used to that. But I do work.
Right. When I was my own property manager, when I did long-term rental before I hired a separate one, when I was doing all that, I paid myself.
It's just like you get a check, here you go, and then you just all right, thanks, man. It's like you just pass yourself a check.
Well, I didn't physically pay myself, but in terms of deducting, that's my work.
Yeah.
And so then I need to deduct that from my tax burden because I did that work.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. No.
Again, you did your own cleaning and you don't necessarily have a receipt for that, so that's something you might forget. Yeah. Right. So for those that do that, you do your own lawn care because it's at your spot. Yeah. Those are things that those of us who it's not at our house, we pay for. Mm-hmm. So there's value to that work that you're doing. Even things that you did before you started in preparation for starting. Hey, I changed this in the bathroom, or I changed this.
Built the bed.
Yeah, whatever you did. You know, I bought a TV and I put it up there.
Mounted
those
it.
Things. Now that's just not a TV in your house. You bought that TV for the purpose of the business.
It's the only reason.
Just keep those things in mind.
Yeah.
You went and picked it up. You went, I bought a grill, but I hired somebody to put that joint together. I'm writing that off.
Yeah.
Because me and my husband would have been in divorce court trying to assemble that grill. So.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I think all of that is definitely good things to keep in mind. Which definitely wish everybody good luck on their short-term rental spaces, and this is tax season, so make sure you guys get that done. Don't wait till the last minute. It's February, so everybody should have all the documents they need. Get them to your professionals because they busy right now.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
they are
Lord.
busy, so stay on it, y'all. And yeah, those are my final words. Shellie, you got any final words?
Ching ching.
Ching ching. Ching ching. All right, y'all. Until next time.
Blessed like, S-class, when you're fully redeemed, he'll give you what you want. The road to Orlando, he took me to and from. Not one accident done, now that's what's happened, none. Since the adolescent, I've been blessed without a question. To prosper, I've been destined past, future, and my present. I praise you because of you, Lord, I've learned some lessons. Diligently get on bending knee when the devil starts messing. I thank the Lord because I never had to slang, yay. Was raised right, and my sister was the same way. And we was taught how to get down on our knees and pray for every single blessing on each and every day. Jesus took 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread.